trade. But let's get in another corporate that we have lined up for you today, Welspun Living, the stock on our radar. In focus on the back of their fourth quarter numbers, the textile company reported a rise in revenue by about 20% on a year-on-year basis. Gross profit also increased by 22%. We have Deepali Goenka, who's the MD and CEO of Welspun Living, joining in. Thanks a lot, Deepali, for joining in. Congratulations. It was a strong year for y'all. 20% growth is what y'all saw. But we heard into the con call, and you've guided for about 10 to 12% growth for the next year with 15.5 to 16.5% margins. Now, I'm curious to know why a 10 to 12% growth for the next year when the previous year you've grown at 20% and you have a target of 15,000 crores on the top line by FY26. Are you conservative? I think you're on mute, Deepali, so you'll have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. So not being conservative, but being cautiously optimistic, as we have been. But we want to continue to, as we've always spoken about, that we want to continue to, and our targets are for 26, 27, as we spoke about. Our CAGR for emerging businesses will be 30%. And we've always maintained that our home textile business will grow at an upper single digit, and that's where we are, and we will continue to work towards our numbers. And absolutely that 15,000 crores is right there on target. But, we don't want to, because, a Red Sea comes in, the war, the skirmishes across the world. So we really, and the elections around over 60 countries across the globe. So we just want to be cautiously optimistic. We are living in a dynamic global scenario, but we just want to tell you, we are absolutely on point, onto our targets, and we will continue to delight our stakeholders as well.
All right, Ms. Goenka, good to see you in, and thanks a lot for coming on the show. So we're going with that guidance of around 10 to 12%. What should margin outlook look like for the coming year? And if you could help us out for FY25 itself, the margin outlook, what should your debt number look like, and the capex plans, so we get everything out of the way in the near term.
Sure. So let me tell you, our top line growth that we today are at nearly $1.2 billion as home textile, as Welspun Living. We would be looking at a growth of around 10 to 12%. I know it's a little conservative, but we'll continue to look at the global scenarios. We are right on target for our numbers that we're looking at. Our margins are around 15.5% to 16%, as we spoke about. Our net debt today is at around 1,300, and we'll maintain that for the next year as well, because we are in the project mode. And it is, and with the ROCE, you saw a ROCE at around 14.7%. Our projects are, our investments with a strong ROCE prudence of around 20% as well. So let me also tell you, we are looking at India as a great opportunity, and the world is looking at us. So definitely we don't want to miss that opportunity as well.
So where does the ROCE move to? From around 14.7% from mid-single digit. What's the target out there?
So the next year's target is around 16%.
All right, 16% of the return on capital. Just wanted your thoughts on the India business itself. You said the world is looking at India, etc. India is high single digits of your overall revenue right now?
Yeah, it is around 6.5% today, looking at around 10% by the end of 26, 27. That's where we want to be. But you already know that the India right now is going through its own slow kind of a quarter. We saw the results coming in. Retail though in Jan-Feb grew by 4%, but if you look at the e-commerce business was at around 12 to 15, which was at 20%. But we see India as a great opportunity. So, having said last year being a slow, but we definitely are looking at India as a very integral part of the growth opportunity that we see. And of course, emerging businesses like flooring, advanced textiles, and our domestic consumer businesses growing at a CAGR of 30%, contributing around 33% this year, and at 45% end of 26, 27.
I missed that number. Flooring will contribute how much of the total mix? How much does it contribute? Where is it headed?
It is headed. So this year we did around close to 1,000 crores, and
yes,
we are looking at emerging businesses, that is including flooring, advanced textiles, domestic consumers, to contribute around 30%, 45% by 26, 27. Yeah.
The swing factor in the flooring business would be the margins. In the fourth quarter, it did margins of close to around 8.6%, and this is much lower than your other businesses. So once the margins for this business improves, we can see the margins improve on a structural basis for the other parts of the company on the whole. What's your target for margins for the flooring business?
So right now we are looking at an upper 10%, because it is still in that in that phase of just kicking in. But we definitely feel we got a 8% margin, which was actually very very slow last year as well. So we are definitely looking at over 10 to 12% coming in from there. For sure in flooring. This year, actually, the fourth quarter saw a little slow because of the Red Sea issue that kicked in, but we are well on track on that as well.
Okay, all right. Ms. Goenka, you're also putting in money. If I look at it in a pillow manufacturing unit, there's a towel unit as well, facility that are going to be coming on stream. So say in the next 3 years or so, what will be the optimal revenue potential that the company can have? You're going to be delivering 15,000 crores. You mentioned that at the start of the interview. But what would the revenue potential be at optimal levels?
I think that's where we will be. I think if you're looking at today, we are at 1.2 billion. We are looking at 2 billion, So, and I think because if the pillow plant coming in America, and, that's a huge opportunity for us. It is as big as around towels. Towels is around 2.6 billion as an opportunity in India. In America, it's the same as the towels as well in the United States of America. The towels, when we talk about in India, the jacquards and the project that we're coming in, it's fashion towels. It gets us a better value as well. And it actually also looks at displacing China. You look at flooring, it has been a story of displacing China in that world, that part of the world. We're looking at indigenizing of the entire supply chain of flooring in India. So the opportunity that we see in a way is India as a country as consumption, India as a country for the supplier, being the very good supplier destination for all the key countries and key retailers across the globe. So yes, India plays a great prominence in the role that we're committing to the numbers.
Take that point. Thanks a lot for joining in. So far what we have is 15,000 crores revenue over the next 3 years with margins around 15.5% to 16%. 45% of your revenue is coming in from the emerging businesses. India alone would account for about 10% in your sales. So there was a lot of India.
Bright future for India.
In your commentary, on your business, on your mind, on everyone's mind as well. So on that bright, futuristic and optimistic note and patriotic note,